Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I love this. I'll call it a quote or a piece, a factoid of information on her website. Recovery isn't about fitting into someone else's version of life. It's about creating your own. We're going to talk about recovery today, specifically for women going through challenges, wanting to transform their life, feeling that, yeah, there's more out there. I've been through a lot as a woman. Let's say you're saying that to yourself, but you know there's more out there for you. How do we get you there? We get you in the room. And I really mean that, in the room. She's in the room with us today. She's an amazing transformational recovery guide and speaker. And she's back with us. Karen Rubinstein joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm great, Steve. Thank you for having me. And it's so good to see you again.
Too. This is, when we talk about transformation, you have gone through a transformation to change your practice in some regards and how you help other women. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it definitely is transforming. That is appropriate. Yeah, this has been a journey for me. This year it'll be 5 years sober this May. And, I was like, a part of recovery is giving back and service. So I went back to school. I got certified as transformational coach. And that's where we left off in September. But again, it's evolving, transforming. And I found a really big need for women to have a safe space for recovery. So I go to a recovery 12-step meeting, and I called my community, my online community, Women in the Rooms, because the slang for my meeting is the rooms. Like, oh, we're in the rooms. So I go to the rooms and I'm like, where are the women in the rooms? It's 90% men.
Mm.
So I know the women are out there. I was one of the women out there who didn't know where to go. I couldn't find a place that I was comfortable in. And I thought, and for me too, I have really discovered, I've done a lot of work on myself, a lot of inner work, a lot of emotional and spiritual growth, feel very comfortable in my skin. So what I realized, the most important thing, and I don't know if people realize that recovery is not just stopping. You stop and then you go, oh, what next? You still have a hole. You still will have cravings. You still feel a need to pick up something, some food, drugs, alcohol, something to escape from your pain or from dealing with reality. So then what happened? So I was looking around. I had been on an online community years ago. Uh, I tried to stop on my own, but all I was getting was, oh, like, distract yourself, work harder, use self-will,
Mm.
go to yoga, meditate, fill your life with things. But if you keep filling your life with things, you're not filling up your inside. It comes from the inside out. That is transformation. That's why I love being a transformational recovery guide. And I say guide because a coach to me is like, do this, do that. Well, you can't tell people what to do. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm guiding them through a process I have walked down, guiding them through things that like showing them that there is a life in recovery that is better than they ever could imagine. So,
I love that word guide. It is fantastic because it really explains how you walk that journey with them.
yes.
Picture, I'm going to go to the Grand Canyon. I don't
Mhm.
know how to navigate the Grand Canyon. What do I need? I need a guide, somebody that's going to show
Exactly.
me the way. They're not going to tell me what to do. They're not going to, I don't need that. Just show me what steps to take, what direction to head in. I'll make the decision if that fits me. And more times it does. I'm sure when you work with women because you've walked that journey yourself and with others. When it comes
Mhm.
to the transformation, the recovery, is it different for men than women in your view overall?
I go to both. Yeah, that's a really good question. There are differences. I remember when I was in rehab, the clinical director said, I will never understand what women have gone through. And what he meant by that, coming from for myself, sexual abuse. A lot of women have sexual abuse and trauma. So there's a real so they have holes and needs that men won't understand, and that's why it's good to have women's meetings. Also, like, women are afraid to share in front of men,
Mm.
so they will open up more. On the other hand, too, there's men meetings that sometimes there's like a touchy subject that they feel more comfortable. For women, it's a safety. Also, here's another thing: stigma. Women are the soul of the home, and they also are more represented at PTA meetings, things like that, involvement in school. I'm not saying across the board, but there is a lot of stigma with the woman. Like, men are more prone, believe it or not, because my husband won't ask for directions, but the men are more prone to going to meetings. Women feel a lot of stigma, a lot of shame. They don't want to be seen by their neighbors. They don't want to be found out. They don't want to feel less than. So there's a whole stigma thing too. So yeah, there is
Mm.
difference.
You said the word, it was in the back of my mind for women, shame. And
Mm,
it is a shame that women might feel shame in certain situations because they've been put on a pedestal as they should be in many regards as a mom, homemaker, and all of that, holding the glue holding the family together. Just one example. I'm going
mm,
hypothetical here. Um, and now there's some challenges. We all have challenges, but to be transparent about it and to work through it, it can be a challenge. It really can, especially explaining that to other women. And also, like you said, let's say it's a group of men and women together in one room. That can work, but only to a point.
yeah,
That's my thoughts, my
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
there.
No, I think you're right. And, shame kept me from getting help for years, and I didn't want to be found out. So a lot of my drinking was done secretly. So
Mm.
that leads me to a couple of other things I'm working on. Speaking, I call it Recover Loudly because I'm very proud of my recovery. Um, and that's the thing. It's so funny. I can understand, like, I was ashamed of drinking, but that's because I felt like it was a flaw in myself. And now I understand a lot of people go back and forth on the disease aspect. All I know is that once I started drinking too much, I crossed a line, and that changed my brain chemistry, my physiological body. And once I was addicted, there's a saying, once a cucumber becomes a pickle can't go back to being a cucumber. I crossed a line into addiction. I couldn't help it. I did try to stop. And it's sad that so many women feel like me, that, oh, I'm doing something wrong. And that's why I really want to have this online community to, like, educate. There's going to be resources. Let me tell you about the rooms because I'm really excited. Another reason why I picked the rooms is because I'm building it in a home structure, because where do women feel comfortable? Or I did, the home for the most part. So the ground floor is free. It's always going to be free. It's for early sobriety. There's the front porch for welcoming, the parlor for early sobriety, for chat. There's the Nook, which is a small library of free resources, and then the family room, which is the forum for all events and activities. The second floor, and okay, so let me explain too. The first floor is opening in 2 weeks because I've had so many people clamoring, and I'm like, I'm just opening the first floor. I got it all set. I'm fine tuning it right now. I have some resources. I'm getting more. We're going to start meetings on Saturday mornings at 9 to 10, starting April 12th. So the second floor level and the third floor will be opening in September with a grand opening, and that's going to be memberships. The second floor will be exercise, wellness studio, and a nutritionist. I have a woman who has a cooking school and is an author. She's going to be giving some tips in the kitchen. And then the third floor, which is emotional and spiritual growth, the living room for emotional, the loft for spiritual growth, and then my private office will be up there, the home office. So
Wow.
for me, like, what I started to say about online communities or books that I've read, it's always the focus on how to stop drinking, but like just self-care, like, kind of, I'm not saying superficial, but I'm trying to encompass mind, body, and spirit, because all three parts are really important for recovery. Maintaining good emotional sobriety, spiritual growth, and physical. So it all goes like hand in hand. So the rooms are like a way of growth, a journey of growth that covers all bases.
Wow. And this is all virtual?
Yes, yes. So they go online, I have my information here, the KarenRubinstein.com. There's information about the rooms. There's also a nice little sobriety tips and tools guidebook that they can get, but all the information about the rooms. And then they click on, they can go into, I do have the app. They're more than welcome. They could start going in now, but it's officially going to be open on the 12th with the Zoom meetings. But they can go in and take a look around the rooms, get some resources. There's information in there. The official date will be then. So like I said, and then this led me, this is my other venture. It's like, what else could I do? So I'm writing a book, because the books that I had out that I read always fall short for me, because they'll tell you that, oh, they don't, there's a lot of myths in society about like recovery and about addiction. And I feel that my book is called True Recovery is Rebellion, because recovery is being whole, feeling comfortable in your own skin, having that emotional growth, that spiritual growth. And I do say spiritual because that is part of it. But the other myth is that we need substances, like we need this pill. And I'm not saying that don't take antidepressants, you need it. But I've been off antidepressants. I used to take sleeping pills. We need to self-medicate or find our answers outside of ourselves. So I'm saying, if you do the inner work and you work on yourself and truly find out who you are, then you're healed. It's all about healing, and it's all about living the best life that you can. So that's what I'm all about, and that's what I am hoping to accomplish in my lifetime. So I'm very, that's the
It's
that's
exciting. And
it.
it's inviting. You're invited to the rooms.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like coaching or therapy. It feels like we're friends hanging out in the room. And I got a download when you mentioned the book. Um, every chapter is about a room. I don't know. That just popped in my head.
Ooh, that's a
And you name
nice.
the chapter, the rooms that you have created.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I'll have to dedicate the book to you, Steve.
Quite,
I like
I'm flattered, but it's that's why it happens. And the title,
Okay.
obviously, with the book should have something about the rooms because nobody else is doing this.
Yeah.
Let's look at the recovery in general. For you personally, Karen,
Mm.
what held you back from moving forward? Did you knew? I'm assuming you knew I needed to make some changes in my life.
Mhm.
What was in front of you that you didn't walk in the room, so to speak?
Fear.
And yeah.
Fear.
And what
Fear.
did you fear? We all have fear. And I'm not minimizing you. Fear is
uh,
everything for
yeah.
everybody in every direction. So totally understandable. What type of fear was it?
Fear of stopping. Fear of, because alcohol was so a part of my life. I considered it almost a friend, a
Mhm.
companion, a crutch. I felt so hobbled inside. I felt I can't walk without my crutch. I couldn't picture a life without it. So they talk about rock bottoms. I did have a rock bottom. My doctor thought I was going to die. I was drinking between a quart to almost a half gallon of vodka a day toward the end. That's not living. That was just passing out. She was afraid for my life. So I went to a detox with no plans other than I don't want to die. I didn't want to live the way I was living, but I also I didn't know what to do. And they were like, oh, we're going to send you to a rehab. I had PTSD, I have trauma background, sexual abuse, and they're like, I didn't take it seriously. I was like, oh, it'll be a little mini vacation. Oh, isn't this nice? And I got there and I actually wanted to leave because it didn't have the pool that I wanted. It wasn't, I was so delusional. I look back at my journal and like, who was this woman? It was all superficial. But I was scared. I wanted to go home. So,
I just want to tell you, just if I may, you're not delusional. I would have rationalized it in my mind too. Well, I'm going away. I'm going to spend some time, some quiet time. This
mhm,
is, I'm going to work on me, heal, whatever it might be. And you just put that picture in your mind
mhm.
to get you there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would have
yeah.
done the same.
So- And actually, I'm glad that I mistook like the one that I thought there was going to be a pool because I would have gone. Again, I wasn't thinking rationally. That's another thing. When I was drinking, I wasn't rational. I was literally sick and I was mentally sick. So my husband did drive out and he spoke to the clinical director, who, after I complained about the place, said to me, he goes, I'm hearing a lot of I. He goes, why don't you look at your husband and ask him how your drinking is affecting him? I looked at my husband and he had tears in his eyes. And he said, Karen, you got to stop running. And Steve, literally, I could see the end of the road. I'm like, oh my God, the jig is up. I have to change something. And what I felt at that moment was humility, that I was affecting other people. My actions hurt him. And it made me feel small. But, when you're humble, then you're teachable. So
So
right
true.
then and there, I got honest with myself. So I have it tattooed on my arm, honest, open, and willing. That is the basis, I firmly believe, of a solid recovery. If you can get honest that you have a problem, honest with yourself, open to suggestions, open that you're to a higher power, and willing to do work. Honest, open, and willing. Those are the clients I'm looking for. Those are teachable.
Mm.
So,
That humility, friend of mine who's very intuitive
mhm.
said to me, uh, 20 years ago, more. Um, Actually, it was 16. When you're at the lowest point in your life,
Mm.
that's when you're the most humble.
Hmm. Yeah,
And it sounds like at that moment with the clinical director, your husband, it all came clear.
it broke me open. I
Yeah.
needed I needed a big thump on the head. That was it. And right then and there, I was like, something has to change. Now, I was very fortunate. They were based on a 12-step recovery program. I mandatory meetings. I didn't want to go. I still wasn't getting it. But after a couple of weeks, I'm like, these are my people. They understand me. And then I saw that there were steps that could be taken to actual tools to get me out of the hole of my life.
Mm.
And I grabbed the tools and I've been working every single day on myself. And has that helped? My marriage is the best it's ever been. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I had I was paralyzed with fear for talking. I couldn't talk. All of my fears, I feel amazing. And that's really what the word I want to get out for women, that there is hope. If they could get through the fear, get some help, open up, be honest. And that's why too, like I feel like I am my brand. It's KarenRubinstein.com. I I work on myself for me, but also to give hope to other people. Like I said to somebody the other day, I'm just like you. If I could do it, honestly, you can too.
Mm. The rooms are on fire in a good way. And I wonder if I may read this to you.
Okay.
There's a reason. Somewhere out in the back of your mind comes the real life and the life that you know. It seems that there is the creation of some of those same old things. It seemed to be the only thing left out in the light. Well, maybe I'm just thinking that the rooms are all on fire every time that you walk in the room. Well, there's a magic all around you. If I do say so myself, I have known this much longer than I've known you. Those are the lyrics to Stevie Nicks' hit that she had in the late 80s called Rooms on Fire. Your rooms are on fire.
Oh, wonderful. Oh my gosh, Steve, how wonderful. I
I
love
get
it.
things in music, and when she refers to the person that you, uh, who knew you, I interpret that in many ways as yourself. You,
Mm,
me, the person that we knew isn't really that person.
yeah.
There's another person in there
Yeah.
that needs to shine in the room, make that realization, that transformation, whatever it might be.
Uh, I love it, Steve. I'm going to play that as soon as we get off.
Check it out.
That is
There's
so
another line in
cool.
there. She had trusted many. Um, I'll just leave it at that. There's, you find pieces of lyrics and things like, but the room is literally called, and I love the song. It's when she did her solo career right after Edge of 17, which was a big
Oh,
hit. That song came out, and it's
I,
called Rooms on Fire. So I mean, it's like, and
I'm
I
gonna,
I I feel like your rooms are on fire with understanding, love, transformation, connection, all of that. Thanks to
yeah.
you.
Oh, thanks. Oh, Steve, you just made my day.
I didn't. The universe did. Because
Yes,
I'm the
absolutely.
conduit. Things fly in my head and throw it out to you. But love the concept and just the online community because men or women, we don't know where to turn. And we're afraid. We have fear. We're afraid of opening up, being vulnerable. I'm in a men's group, and it's just a leadership community service group. Exactly a year I've been in this organization, and we meet every week. And some of the men have challenges. Some of
Mm,
them had addictions. And we all talk about it. We're one, and the number one thing is mask down.
yes. Yes.
So many men or women just afraid to do that. It's not easy. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for years, I really wore the mask of the perfect person, and hurting inside. So, yeah, what's behind the mask? So,
There's no perfect person. And, lived that one for a long time. The perfectionist, let that go, probably about 4 years ago. But it's a process. But it comes down to one thing. You mentioned that, you cracked open. Lyrics of another song. A friend of mine wrote this one. The core is still the same, but there's a few more cracks there in my shell. We all got cracks in our shell, but
mm,
deep down inside, we are the same. We are good people.
we are. Yeah, we have more in common. And
Yeah.
we're also here built for a certain, we're put on this earth, and I know for a certain purpose. So I feel at this point, this is a calling to give back in my way because if anybody can understand suffering, I mean, with everything I went through and to come back feeling so great, so that's my
Mm.
purpose. Because sometimes, when I was on my pity pot for a while and drinking, oh, if you had my problems, you'd drink too. I would look back at what I'd gone through and it was like, oh no. Now I look back at what I've gone through and I'm like, well, it changed me, but it kept changing me and for the better. And like, I, I feel like I've come back to what I was like as a child before I got out in the world, but better, like more knowledgeable. So yeah, it's been quite a journey.
I think you just described the secret of life. I really do.
Hmm.
The child that got lost, the
Mm,
child, and it goes back to that's why I call it shadow work. We had things that we experience as children, and that could have been just a comment somebody made. You could have been bullied, but to go back to the child in you and that curiosity and that playfulness and that just fun, nothing bothers you as a kid typically. I think that's a secret. I really do.
yeah, yeah. And it's fun. What I've learned in part of transformational, I'll try to explain it a little briefly. And it's based on the fourth step, is basically looking back at resentments you've had over the years. And then once you realize that it all started way, way back, and then, okay, say for instance, I got yelled at when by my mother. Then I look at it and I say, oh, like, how did I interpret that as a child? I'm bad. I'm not lovable, etc. So
Exactly.
then okay, let's get into school and some kid picks on you. That starts repeating, oh, I'm bad. I'm unlovable. And you start to see a thread going through your whole life. So with transformation work, you could go back to that very beginning and look at it and say, well, that's not true. Oh, okay, that's how I felt then, or that's what, like that was my coping tool then, because talk about perfectionism, that's when it all started. Well, I better be good. I better be perfect. I better do as I'm told and always like get good grades so I'm lovable. It's all back then. It starts turning into this big messy knot that you don't even think that you could ever untangle. But slowly but surely, and that's how I like guide people. Let's start like pulling that thread apart. Let's start untangling. And then you get back to your core person, which is a beautiful person. And you're
Mm.
right. We are all the same. We are born in love with a purpose.
What you described, those situations where you hear things, your mom said something, whatever it might be, everything you just described is what most of us go through in life as kids. It's just normal stuff, but some of us interpret it a certain way. Some of us deal with it in a certain way, and then other things stack on. What's the best way to connect with you? It's your website's your name, right?
Yeah. And people always spell my name wrong. So I actually have both sites. So if you spell it wrong, you'll still find it. It's KarenRubinstein.com, KarenRubinstein. And my email is info@KarenRubinstein.com. Yeah, go on my site. There, like I said, there's a nice some tips and tools for early sobriety. There's all information about the rooms. I should probably start put some information about the book I'm writing, but maybe it's a little early. But that's that.
Thank you so much for today. And thank you for making room to create the rooms to help people on their journey as you walked it. Wonderful talking with you today. Love everything you're doing.
Thanks, Steve. Great to be here. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.